Everybody already knows about the best muscle car ever created, and that's going to be the Hellcat. But what you don't know is what made Dodge want to create such a machine. So the answer is actually quite simple. It all started with a guy named Chris Callan, who's the former head of the SRT division. Now I'm going to take you back to 2011, where he pitched his idea to make the most powerful muscle car ever, the Chrysler. All right, so Chris walks in, he goes, hey, let's make a most powerful muscle car ever. And they said, well, how much horsepower do we need? He says, about 600 horsepower should do. Those Ford and GM guys aren't doing anything more than 600. And they were like, okay, that makes sense, let's do it. So Chris and his team began to work, but there was just one problem. There was a rumor that started to circulate that Ford was working on a Mustang that had more than 600 horsepower. All right, so the engineer calls Chris, he's like, hey man, we got a big problem. Those Ford guys are working on something big. And Chris goes, well, how big? He goes, over 600 horsepower big. Chris goes, okay, he hangs up. So Chris goes back to the CEOs, he's like, hey guys, we have a problem. We have to get more than 600 horsepower. Those Ford guys cooking up something big, and there's no way we're gonna let them outdo us. We're not working this hard for nothing. So the CEOs, they hear Chris out, like, okay, that makes sense. How much horsepower do you think we need? Chris says, about 675 should do the trick. They're like, okay, that's fine, but there's only one catch. We'll let you do it, but we're not giving you any more time, and you need to keep the same fuel economy as you say you will have with 600 horsepower. So Chris being the type to never back down from a challenge, he agrees, but here's the thing, he had one thing up his sleeve, and that was the fact his goal was always 700 horsepower. And that's how the Hellcat was made. But initially, the Hellcat wasn't going to be called the Hellcat. They was going to call it the Alley Cat, which is a terrible name. Hellcat sounds way cooler. And it didn't have any distinctive badges. It did say SRT on the front, but the little fender badge here just says Supercharged versus the cool Hellcat logo that we all know.